I'm Sissy from Manifest underscore Sissy, right? I'm a life coach and a public speaker, uh, motivational speaker, right? Today we're speaking about a topic of balancing your male and female energies, okay, within a relationship, how it actually helps you improve your relationship, okay? Today we're talking basically about this specific topic because last week we spoke about men needing emotional safety. So I'm doing a series of relationship related type of videos, okay, which I will also post on my social media. I'll make small little clips of these videos, right? So now today we're talking specifically about balancing your male and female hormones, right? So when I'm saying balancing, I'm saying just providing kind of a balance so that you can understand. But first, or understand each other in relationship, sorry. But first, we need to understand that balancing your hormones is harmonizing your energies because emotions are energy, okay? So male and female, both genders have both hormones in them, right? And they both have an ability to express the female femininity and express the masculine male type of dominant type of energy. But due to the fact that we're in a world of modern relationships, right? It's modern times, and women have been asked to be more aggressive, to show up more up in the sense of being more masculine in their relationships. So they're not able to actually cause a balance because they are continuously trying to compete with the man. And the relationship is not about competing. It's about causing a balance so you two people can balance out and have like a balanced relationship and understand each other, because our emotions will be evident in the way we communicate, right? How, which type of emotions are we really using at any given time? So we have this principle of a maximum energy, which is the yin, or rather, is it the yang? Yeah, it's the yang. So not the yin, it's the yang. So it's a yang and yin. The yang is the male energy, right? That's one is like more structure, more logically thinking. It's about you taking actions, what you providing. The provider is the yang, the male in energy or the male frequency. Now remember now, this has nothing to do with gender. It's a lot to do with just your frequency archetype I'm talking about, right? Because both male and female can both express these genders alike. I mean, or these energies, sorry. These energies, they can express that energies alike. A male can be very masculine, a female can be very, uh, what you call feminine, right? Now, remember that we have this in our mind because society has taught us that femininity is for females and masculinity is for a man. It's not like that, right? We're supposed to balance it because we all have, both male and female, we all have the same energies and frequencies. We have the ability to actually express more masculine or more feminine or even together at certain times. So it's about you just kind of balancing them out, right? So the masculine energy is all about the structure. As I said, it's the yang relationship between the two. Okay, so it's about structure, providing direction, taking charge. Okay, and then we have the feminine energy, which is about the nurturer, the intuition, the flow of things, the receiver of things. You understand? So the feminine character or characteristic is about you being provided for. The masculinity is about you providing, and both male and female can play those roles. It's not necessarily one role determined for each gender, right? So me as a female, I can be masculine. Now where I'm coming from, because of my background, it's about you taking charge, because at the end of the day, I'm coming from a single parent home. So I show up a lot with my masculinity because I've been taught to have a lot of drive, and my femininity is being deprived because it's not what I'm focusing on all the time. Only later on in my life, I realized that femininity is not about your looks. It's not about makeup. It's not about dressing up sexy. That's a small part of it. The major part of it is how you show up in reality. Are you the one that's more in flow? Are you more of the nurturer? Are you more expressing yourself in a very softer way than the male, because you're the receiver, right? So a healthy relationship needs both, right? And it's at times we need to swap and change. It's like a flow. Sometimes my husband has to be more masculine and I am the receiver, so I let him take charge and I'm more feminine. I'm more softer and I'm using my intuition, right? So these are the things that I've learned. A healthy relationship is about the balance flow between these two. Important to heal your wounded masculine and your wounded feminine. It's important, okay? Now, this is something a very interesting concept because, again, when a person is too feminine, these are the characteristics that come about, right? You're too needy, you are more vulnerable, you are just basically not able to make those logical choices. You're too feminine because when you go into femininity, you're more into intuition and not your doing, right? That strength that now becomes like a vulnerability. So you're more vulnerable. Your strength becomes a vulnerability, right? So guys, hello, good morning, everybody. Hi all. Nice that you're in my life. I'm just taking notes of guys that are in my life now, right? I love that. Thank you for joining me. So I'll be talking about interesting topic, how we balance our female or our femininity and our masculinity in relationships. It's important for us to understand that there's no gender assignments when it comes to how to show up in a relationship, okay? These roles that we are told in society can be misleading, right? Because a female can be just as masculine as a man can be. However, this is what's happening now. A man becomes more masculine, a female's more masculine, and then they're both masculine in the relationship, and they're both having these energies and becomes conflicting. They have conflicts because it's a power struggle. It becomes a power struggle, right? So I've made some notes here to keep my mind at track, okay? Anyway, as I said before, we need to remove the power struggle and get balance. So if you are female, understand that you don't have to be that strong provide a type of archetype, right? You can balance your femininity and nurture it. And when your husband or your partner or your boyfriend is showing up with more masculinity, you have to go ultra feminine to balance it out. Because if he is really masculine, then you must show up with ultra femininity. And sometimes it can now like kind of change depending on the situation, right? This is the most complex part of it of all, right? It will need to change depending on the situation. Like, for example, when it comes to money, my husband, for example, likes to be in charge. And then I understand that I've given him that space to take in charge of the finances, right? So I am more feminine in that area. I'm more of the receiver. I'm more soft. I'm using my intuition. When he is now making logical choices, I'm using my intuition. Is this the right thing to do? Does it feel right? That's the step that we're doing now. What we're doing now, does it feel right? That's how you do it. You need to play it out like that and understand that, okay, now he's portraying more femininity. Like, for example, if I'm not feeling well, my husband can become the nurturer, right? When my mom is not feeling well in a home, my husband can become the nurturer. How's she doing? Does she need this? Is she okay? You know, he's now tuning into his femininity, right? This is what I've actually kind of picked up early on in my relationship that my husband, the person I'm married to, he has the ability to express both the femininity and also the masculinity. If we're having a problem in the home, for example, we need to fix something in the home, he shows up with very masculine characteristics. He wants to take charge. Oh, how much is it going to cost to fix the problem? What is the problem? Let me go down and look at it. When the plumber comes in or the person comes to help and fix the problem, he wants to be there. He wants to see. He wants to be hands-on, because what a man masculinity is about hands-on, the doer, right? The feminine one is about, okay, how's it going? Is he okay? Do you need water? What do you need? How can I help you do your job kind of approach? That's more like femininity. You're not going to do the job itself, but how can I make it easier for you to do your job? What do you need? Do you need, or is the place okay? Do you need me to move this or whatever? You understand that is more feminine. You are supporting the male character, right? So you need to have a balance, okay? The important part is balance here, balance. As I said, let me go back to the importance of the healing the wounded male. The wounded male is more aggressive. When a person is coming through with more aggression and he's saying, I am so excellent, I'm the man, and he's using control, too much control, and when he's not in control, he gets very, very aggressive, okay? He has a disconnect to his emotions, right? That kind of thing. And he wants to be more domineering. He wants to dominate. in the situation or in the relationship, right? That's toxic. Because now, when a woman is receiving this domination and this inability to be more expressive and more emotional about any problem, she needs to protect herself. And then she puts her guards up and she decides to be more masculine to match his masculinity. You understand, causing problems. Then they have conflicts and fights because now they're not understanding it's about the balance. If he's showing up more masculine, you need to be ultra feminine. You get my point? You need to now back down and understand and try and use your intuition and use empathy as well to understand where it's coming from. You understand, guys? We need to understand our partners. So it's about you understanding what is being masculine, what is being feminine, and understand that if a woman is more masculine, she's only been expressing what she's used of expressing all the time. And it all boils down to how you were brought up as a child when you were at home with your parents in your family, how you actually experience your family's experience. And maybe, like, for example, your parents' relationship. Was your mom more masculine? Were you born in a home where your father left and your father left if all the caregiving and everything else to the mother? Maybe he divorced her, or maybe he never like married her, he didn't stay in the relationship. So what she does, she zones more into a masculinity, right? When a mother is carrying a baby, she's zoning into a femininity. She's carrying the baby, she's nurturing the baby, okay? That kind of thing. But now, if there's no male figure in a home, what happens is that the mother will automatically go into the zone of being more masculine. More masculine shows up with more discipline in her home. She wants to be more disciplinary type of person because she needs to balance it out. Remember that there's no male figure in her home. Right? So this goes on for years. Even financially, she's not the receiver, she's the giver. She's always emptying herself out and giving for her children. There's no balance. So it causes a problem in her psychic and in her psychology, right? And it causes an imbalance and suffering in her own consciousness, you understand? Because she's not getting a balance. She doesn't get a chance to express her femininity, to relax, calm down, and use her intuition because she's always on the drive. She's always stressed about the children's school fees, about the food to eat, the rent, everything. She's stressing continuously. Even if you are a well-paid person, you got a lot of money. But at the end of the day, remember, this is it, right? This is what it is. When a person is earning a good salary, it doesn't mean that person is not going to have those social problems and psychological problems, okay? Especially, she's earning a good salary, but she doesn't have a balance at home. She has to be about mother and father. Right now, what I've noticed that women tend to really embrace masculinity activities. They embrace that energy so much that they forget to nurture their femininity, to express their femininity and be vulnerable and allow people to help them, allow to be helping. Just because your past relationship didn't work out, it doesn't mean that the next relationships won't work out. It doesn't mean that you won't get, like, for example, more support from somebody else. Okay, guys, if you like this live, please click on the like so we can attract more viewers to this live, right? That kind of thing. So I'm Sissy, life coach and motivational speaker, right? You can follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my channels, and also you can follow me on TikTok as well, because I am on TikTok with the same name, manifest___ Sicilian, right? So I'm speaking more today about relationships because without relationships, we really nothing, because we relate with everything, with our money, with our relationships, with our family, with our colleagues, with the people that you go to the mall to, people that help you and serve you. You having that brief relationship, so you need to understand how to deal with human beings, because you are human. You need to understand yourself first so that you can understand other people as well. So today we're speaking about these energies. The reason why I'm speaking about them, I got a passion for relationships. I got a passion for making people understand who they are so they can show up better in the world, right? This is what I've learned on my own, through my own relationships and that kind of thing, and also through zoning into information out there, because there's a lot of information about this type of thing. Like, this is all about Carl Jung's psychology and his work. You understand? So we get to understand these things. So as I said, let me go back to my topic. I spoke about the importance of healing the wounded masculinity. Wounded masculinity is toxic. He's forceful, he's aggressive, he's not allowing for her to express herself. He's not allowing for an understanding in the home because he's showing up as a domineering figure, right? On the flip side of things, the female, right, of the relationship with the lady uh, is more kind of expressing a femininity in a more toxic way. She's over needy, right? She is very emotional, like toxic, imbalance. Her emotions are just imbalanced. She doesn't know when or how to even handle her emotions. It's all over the place, right? So she has no boundaries, no social boundaries, no boundaries in her relationships because she's so stuck in her femininity. You get my point? She's so needy and she's not getting a balance. When it's time to do things, she can't do it. She needs the man. She lacks that ability, that drive to do something. You understand, to be more logical, because at the end of the day, if you look at it this way, right, women that are in corporate end up becoming very logical, over logical, and they lose their femininity, their intuition, their soft side, because they're so zoned on uh how would I say, being there as men in a workplace, because we all know that in the corporate field, right, in the work field, even in business, it's all about the man energy, the doing, the masculinity, the logical thinking, and they really lack intuition. So in most cases, for a woman to succeed in corporate and in business, she needs to zone into the masculinity and really focus on being that logical type of person, using her right brain instead of the left brain, causing an imbalance. Because in every workspace, you need that nurturer, right? So the nurturing seems to be more like a sign of weakness. That is the reason why that women show up more masculine in corporate and in business, and besides, they're not able to actually progress fast if they very emotional and and feminine in a workspace, very nurturing. There's no space for that. There is, but it doesn't really show up as being, how would I say, valuable. My birds are going crazy outside. It doesn't show up as being valuable for you to be very feminine or to show femininity in a workspace. So it causes an imbalance in society and in homes. The reason why it will cause imbalance in society, because the woman that's now a corporate leader, working in the corporate field, has a home and children, right? She has a family. And now she's importing and teaching her children how to pitch up, how to be in life. Okay. So her daughters will learn that it's best for you to be feminine in this world, because you will not be able to actually progress fast enough. You won't be successful if you're very emotional and so intrusive and kind of open to receiving. You must always be saying to people, I'm strong, I got my own job, I don't need a man, kind of thing. I can do more than what a man can do, or I can do just as a man can do. Right now, this is the problem, right? When we hear those type of things, you need to understand, why does a person need to do more? There's no need for you to do more, because we need a balance. Okay, men have their role, you have their role. You are a female, and being a female and being vulnerable and being open to receiving is not necessarily a sign of weakness. It is just a role. It's one of the polarities that we actually work with in this reality, right? So you'll hear men saying, oh, she's too toxic, she's too emotional, she's all over the place, she can't control her emotions. Okay, and she cannot run a business, or she cannot be a general manager or a senior VP or even a senior manager, because she's too emotional. Now the trick here is to balance the two. When you need to be more logical and be more excellent, then you need to be and show up more excellent when it's time to make those decisions in the workplace, right? And balance that with your femininity, your intuition, understanding about love and kindness and empathy. You understand? Think about it, the bigger picture, but look at it more in the human aspect. Now you're actually kind of balancing it off, right? That kind of thing. So cultivating your balance within yourself is very important. That's where change begins. Change begins within yourself, balancing your own personal archetype energies, your male and female energies within yourself, right? It's important for you to know that the balance is important and it is needed. To balance yourself up allows you to attract, because if you show up in a world more masculine, right, you're gonna attract men that are actually or divorced from being the man. He's okay with being the woman, the receiver, and there you are now. You are a female, but you're too masculine. So you meet up with a guy that's basically is not strong in his masculine, he's very strong in his feminine. So you'll attract each other, you'll have a relationship, and then you complain that this man is not showing up as a man. It's because he's attracted to who you are. You're too masculine, right? So he's looking at you and he's seeing, okay, that person's a perfect fit for me because my masculine is not that strong. You understand? This is where problems come in the relationship. Now we have a man or a male figure in the relationship. Good morning, is it Panishi? Thank you for joining my live. We're speaking today about relationships and balancing our archetypal energies when it comes to relationships. Balancing the yin and the yang being the male, the yin being the female energy, the nurturer, the receiver. You get my point? The intuition, the intuitive being. You understand what I'm trying to say? And men can also be very intuitive if they zone into their femininity. Now, there is a misleading perception that men cannot show up feminine because it means that he's not a man. Okay, so as I said earlier in my life, that we both have these energies, male and female. As a female, biologically female being, I have male testosterone energies in me that I can also go into and tap into when I need to. You understand? Same as my husband. My husband's got is a male archetype, male biology, but he does tap into his femininity when he needs to cause a balance, because you need to cause a balance. You need to create a balance actually when it comes to relationships. Okay, so when a man is not showing up in the way you should be showing up, it's because you attracted that man with that imbalance within himself. Maybe he's coming from a background where his masculinity was not zoned into, it wasn't nurtured, it wasn't directed. Maybe he's coming from a single background. His parents is divorced, and then from he never get to know his father. He doesn't know what it is to be very masculine, how to show up in that archetype energy. He's only used of his mom and his sister's kind of vibe, you understand? Again, it's his duty for later in his life to understand that he can change and zone into his masculine and learn how it is to be more masculine. Because remember that you might have both male and female, both mother and father in a home, but if their relationship is toxic because of their own issues, you begin to kind of suckle on that and understand that maybe this is a normal thing. Like, for example, in my coaching, right, I've always hear my clients say that I didn't know that this was toxic because since I was brought up, I thought that all relationships were like this. That all relationships were like this. I didn't know that you had to cause a balance. I've never experienced it. You see those type of things. So we learn because life is about learning, right? Life is about learning. So strengthen your male masculinity. You set boundaries and goals. As a female, learn to set boundaries and goals, right? Align your actions to your goals. Your actions must be aligned to your goals. So what are you doing to achieve your goals? That's more very masculinity. It's the doer, the logical thinking type of archetype, right? So you as a female, when you want to balance it out and you're too feminine, you're too emotional, too vulnerable, too receiving and not able to give, and learn how to strengthen yourself by simply setting goals that are aligned to your actions. Know what are your goals, what are the actions that I need to actually engage in to achieve those goals, right? That kind of thing. And then build emotional stability and discipline. Have emotional ability and discipline. Be be strong emotionally, build your emotional ability. Don't kind of act on every emotional feeling that you have. Think about it. I'm having this emotion now. What does it mean? How does it make me feel? What does this emotion drive me to do? Is it logical for me to just start crying, bursting out crying in the middle of the office? Is it logical? Or is it better for me to excuse myself and go outside or the bathroom, go and get myself sorted out? Because end of the day, when in this world, if a woman starts crying in the middle of a corporate meeting because somebody made her upset because she has a menstruals, whatever, they will not respect her. They will think that she does not have control over her own emotions. How can she even be progressed and promoted to be a senior GM, whatever sort it may be, right? How can I sign a contract to such a emotional driven person, somebody that's not stable, right? So you need to decide like when to actually zone into your femininity and when you need to be more masculine. So when you're balancing out these things, you need to learn these things, setting your goals, right? And taking actions according to your goals. Build emotional stability and discipline yourself. Okay, if you're upset, take a breather and go for a walk, go out to the bathroom or wherever, go out and take a deep breather and come back. And now when you're on a more calmer and more balanced in yourself, okay? And then the other thing you can use is protect your energy with strong boundaries. Women normally don't have boundaries because we are the nurturers, we are the mothers. We want to help everybody at any time. If family member comes in or anybody comes in, we just want to be helping them because we are very feminine, right? We there to help others, okay? So you have to protect your energy with strong boundaries. Set boundaries in your life, at work, in your career, obviously, at home, in your relationships, your social relationships. Set those boundaries, okay? Then hold space for others without trying to fix them, okay? When you're too emotional, okay, or this person has a problem now, let me try and fix him, or fix her. So you need to sit back and try and give them space to be who they are, and understand that they're also growing and changing. So you need to also understand that people will just be who they are according to their level of awareness and their frequency, okay, that kind of thing. So you need to be aware of that. Then develop a strategic thinking and confidence in decision making, right? Develop that strategic thinking and confidence in your decision making, right? In other words, when you're making decisions in your life, right, understand why you're making this decision and what are the effects or the consequences of your decision that you're making in your relationships, at work, wherever it is, right? These things seem like they're difficult, but they're quite easy when you look at them and implement them in your life, right? And strengthen your femininity now for the male sides, for the very masculine guys and women, right? Remember, I spoke and I said that both male and female, both genders can have masculinity and femininity within them, okay? So if you want to strengthen your femininity in your person, in you, your traits, you deepen your intuition, right? Through meditation and stillness. Okay, so now you're going to do meditation. Meditation is not about you being in silence, it's about you focusing and also observing your core thoughts, what is in your mind. And normally it is what happened during the day, yesterday, if it's in the evening. In the morning, it's about basically what happened yesterday, right? So that kind of thing. So you got to zone in, but don't engage with those thoughts and those whatever's coming in your mind. Don't re-engage and recreate what happened yesterday. It's about you engaging in them, observing them. That's how you meditate effectively, right? And stillness. So what's nice? The nice practice I like to do is the body scanning. The body scanning allows you to focus on one thing at a time. So you focus on your head and you go down, 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 down till you get down to your feet. Now you're focusing and you're breathing, right? That kind of thing. It allows you to zone into one thing because at the end of the day, because of the world that's so fast and people wanting things from us so quickly, we tend to be scatterbrained. So when you are meditating, it allows you to calm down. And what happens when you focus on one thing and breathe on that thing and don't interact, just focus on your feet or focus on your forehead or whatever you're focusing on. It's about you zoning into one thing at a time. So you must live in that moment because every moment is precious. But because we're living in a world that's so fast, we will become very scatterbrained, okay? So as I said, One of the important things is still time, and meditation is very good. You can do walking meditation, you can lay down and meditate, you can sit down and meditate. You understand? Meditating is about focus. So walking meditation is so interesting because as you're walking, you're counting your steps. You're counting your steps, and you can even say a mantra. You understand? You can say like a positive mantra. And then you're counting, and you're also feeling how you're feeling in your body as you're moving. That's what's nice about the walking meditation. Then surrender to the flow, right? When you're feminine, you surrender to the flow, because at the end of the day, you use your intuition. You're not about the doing, you're about the stillness, you're about you receiving. I'm here now. So when you meditate with your palms open, and you're breathing in and out, right? And focusing on your breathing and how you're feeling when you are breathing. That's what it's about. It's about living in that moment, right? So it's important. And also embrace your creativity. It can be expressed through dancing, art, painting, can be expressed in writing, journaling, or whatever, writing stories, whatever it is. That's very feminine. Okay, so you cultivate your softness and playfulness and your presence, because when you meditate and sit in stillness, you actually expressing your presence. You're in the present moment. You're now. Very important. This is important for us to understand. Okay, then create polarity in your relationship simply means if one partner is masculine, is portraying or expressing his masculinity, at any time, you zone into your femininity, you back down, you calm down. Like, for example, I've noticed this in my past with my arguments with my partner, my husband, right? He'll be angry and upset, and then I will allow myself to calm down and not be triggered by his emotions. Because now I cannot be showing up as angry as he is. It could be something outside of our relationship, outside of our marriage, that's upsetting him, right? So the whole idea is to be more receptive, more calmer, allow him to express himself, and don't try and match his frequency, because he will express himself and he'll calm down, right? Because a person cannot be angry forever, right? But anyway, so that's how you do it. That's how I work with the polarity thing. So when my husband is showing up in any way, maybe he is more feminine, he's worried about something, he's crying about something, he's showing very feminine traits, then I come in with the support to be the giver, because now I need to now provide him with something, comforts, the kind of thing. But it's all about the balance. And remember that these things are not like concrete, they flow into each other, right? So polarity is about you retracts the attention, the magneticness, in other words. So when you are expressing yourself phenomenon with a phenomenon energy, because he's more masculine, it allows that magnetic solution to come through for you both in whatever the problem that you're expressing. Okay, so both these energies are very important. Right? So you need to learn how to shift between the masculine and the feminine energies. Both male and female have it, so it's like a dance. So we need to be able to know when to come through, with which energies to come through. It's important, right? Instead of you just being trying to match somebody else's frequency, because then we're gonna have toxic arguments, we're gonna have a lot of disagreements, right? So when it comes to relationships are quite a challenge, especially romantic relationships, because now we're supposed to build a life together if we married. Okay, they say things like we become one. What they're trying to say there, when a male and female come together in a relationship or a marriage, we become one. It simply means that now our energies need to balance each other out. It doesn't mean you become one physically, because I mean, that's madness. Okay, he's still who he is, and I am still who I am. But now we build a bridge between each other, and we work together like a dance. I remember one pastor has said to me that a relationship and marriage is about a dance. You move as a male, because according to religion, the male archetype energy is the dominant one. It's the one that controls. It's the one that sets the stage for a marriage. So the man will move first and the woman will follow. Okay, in reality, in the esoteric principles. In metaphysics, it's different. Metaphysics speaks about the balance. So because the male has female energies, he has the ability to show up in that way. And the female has the masculinity ability, she has the ability to show up that way according to our chemistry, according to our frequency as Homo sapiens, right? So we're able to gel and use both energies that we need to, and not one is dominant, one is not, okay? So people get lost because at the end of the day, we are so focused on our cultural and our religious belief system. So your religious belief system will engage and influence your cultural belief system, okay? That is why they say that like the Islamic and the Christian people, the Abrahamic religions are very kind of polarized in that way, right? Like they say the man is patriotic, this is a patriotic system, the man controls everything. They don't understand that on the spiritual side, the metaphysical side of things, energetic side of things, it's not like that, because she can show up just as strong as he is, and he can show up just as emotionally as she can, right? So now that's where we have a problem. So we have a society now that's run by religions and not run by our intuitions and our spirituality. We have a world that's run by religions. So we have this now imbalance in society. We have more relationships broken. We have more divorces because we're living in a world of total polarity and patriarch type of system, right? That's causing the problem. But now we're moving away from that. We move to the age of Aquarius, where the phenomenon, God, divine phenomenon is rising up, meaning that she doesn't want to be in total control. She's wanting a balance, okay? Phenomenon archetype is wanting a balance between the male and female energies, understanding and teaching us that we have both male and female hormones within us, and we can utilize these energies. We can utilize the yin and the yang within us. We can utilize them to make our relationships and our interactions with our partners better, right? That's the thing about relationships, that we can actually make our relationships better by understanding that there's no dominant archetype or energy or dominant gender. There should not be a dominant gender. There has been a dominant gender for the last 100 years, and it's caused wars, disruptions, political turmoil, social injustices. It's caused a lot of problems because of the fact that the female was being suppressed. There was a time where the female had no voice at all until the feminist movements in the starts in the 1920s apparently, right? And it went on, and then like by 1950s it became an official thing, right? That kind of thing. So these are the things that we need to understand, that we live in a very patriotic world. Go to any country in the world, go to America, Europe, everywhere else, and maybe in certain parts of Europe, like, you'll find that the feminine energy is quite acknowledged, and it's kind of a balance that they're trying to develop there, right? But then people say, oh no, you need to put a woman in a place that it's not of God for a woman to be a leader and all those things. At the end of the day, we need to play a game whereby in a home, in a marriage, he's the leader, I'm the leader, and we swap and change. It's a fluid relationship between the two, me and my partner. Right? There's no dominance, there's no toxic oppression. I'm not oppressing him and exerting my femininity on him totally, and he's not doing the same as well. So we're causing a balance. Relationships need balance, okay? Relationships need balance. So we need to understand each other and understand our needs in our relationship, and also understand your partner's needs, right? So you gotta practice. Let me see where I am now. You gotta practice embodying your masculinity as a man, right? But understand that is a toxic one, a way of expressing your masculinity, sorry, and is the balanced way of doing it, right? So you need to understand that being a man is important, being a female is important, but we need to be balancing these two archetypes, right? Then the phenomenon principle or energetic energy receives love graciously and expresses her feelings openly when she feels safe. Because I made a video last week and I did a live about men wanting emotional safety, women also want it as well. Women have been screaming and shouting for emotional safety because at the end of the day, they're told they're too emotional. So what she does, if she's totally uh feminine in energy and she discards her masculinity, she becomes very toxic, she becomes very needy, right? So she needs to be now balancing that out. So aligning your spirituality and your energy as a being, as a Homo sapien. Meditation, I mentioned that deep breathing is very important. Spend time in nature. Nature's female, by the way. That's why we call our plants tree, he, she, and our trees she, because it's Gaia. Everything within Gaia is very feminine, right? That's on the ground. And then the sun on top is the male energy. You understand? The moon again represents the female energy. These are all archetypes, okay? So when you walk in nature and you want to be, it allows you to calm down, it allows you to connect with the elements, with your environment, it allows you to open your consciousness, it allows you to remove your focus on things that are making you constricted, the stress, the worry, right? That can cause ailments in your body. So you do breathing and also using tools like sound, right? Meditation using breath work and sound. So breath work is when you're breathing in and, as I told you, breathing in and out. There's different type of exercise. You can find them online, okay? And then there's the sound frequencies. There's the 1111, and there's also the 432, right? So you look online for those type of frequency, those music sound frequencies, and then put your headsets on and listen to them deep. Breathe deeply in and breathe out, and try and calm yourself and focus on the now. You are now here. You're not in the office with a deadline. That's gone. You're not in that space anymore. If you were working the whole day and you get to the office, get home in the afternoon, leave the office behind and focus on the now, where you are now. Play some music, calming music. 432 hertz is also effective, right? Or the 111, the triple one sound for frequency hertz is also quite effective to calm you down. Spend time in nature, as I said, and journaling, writing your feelings, expressing your feelings. If you have somebody you trust, you can talk to that person. As long as that person is not going to criticize you, make you feel unsafe in their space, okay? So we both male and female need to feel safe, right? So when you're having a relationship with your partner and you're talking to your partner, understand you can trust your partner to receive your message and understand your feelings objectively without being subjected. You came up without him feeling like somehow he's getting attacked by you, whatever you're telling him, right? Again, it takes maturity. So we come into relationships, we married for over 30 years. Within those 30 years, whatever time span we are married, we're getting to know each other. If we don't get to understand this concept about the energies, and we keep on fighting and becomes very aggressive and toxic, that he wants to be the man in the house totally. He wants to dominate. What she's got to say is not important, and even lets her know. That's all very toxic, and vice versa can work the other way around as well. If her man is not very masculine, she becomes very masculine because she feels she needs to show up more masculinity with a more masculine approach, right? Because he's not doing it. Have those discussions with your partner. If you're having a problem with that in your relationship, have an open discussion with your partner so you can understand each other. He should understand you and you should understand her, that kind of thing. And even if it's same gender relationships, like homosexual relationships and stuff like that, it's fine as well, because that those frequencies, those archetypes will always show up. There will be a partner who's very masculine dominated, and there will be the other which is very feminine dominated in a same-sex relationship. You understand that kind of thing? So you'll need to understand these things, that the masculinity is valid, the femininity is valid. They play together. These two, the yin and it's the yang and the yin and the yang. The yang being the male, the yin being the female, right? Energies and frequencies. So these are things we need to understand about relationships. Relationships are quite easy if we understand the metaphysics of relationships, the metaphysics of who we are, right? Human beings cannot grow without relationships, And relationship can be anything, you relating to something else, your pet animal that you nurturing, your job is a relation, it's you and the company that you work for, that's your, including the people that you're working for with in the in the workspace you are in. That's really a relationship. Your food you're eating is really a relationship. What type of foods you eat, how do you prepare it, what are your thoughts about your food when you're eating? Are you blessing your food? Are you announcing that your food is healthy, or all those things? Are you shopping consciously? Are you thinking about things like, how is this food adding to me? Is this food healthy for me? I have this weakness in my biology. I have a problem with this. Will this type of food help me? For example, if I have weak kidneys, what food should I be eating? Right? Those things you actually engaging consciously with your choices. Okay, that's a relationship you have with the world. I can look at it more on a macro level and a micro level. You and everything around you, you are one entity, right? And everything around you is an expression of you within yourself. Okay, this is another, I can make another live on that as well, right? But when it comes to relationships, you need to understand that person that you attracted in your life was there for a specific purpose, and if it just happened, it's not only about the looks that attracted you to her or her to you. There's more to it. There's an energetic frequencies that align you all together, right? And if that person is toxic and coming in with their toxic traits, that means there's something within you that's also toxic that's attracting that person as well. It could be a practice, it could be a belief system, an assumption that's actually attracting you, that person, because you attract who you are in relationships, right? You attract who you are. Basically, you don't attract what you want, because what you want is way divorced from the true frequency of who you are, right? Because you don't understand who you are, and your heart and your mind are not in alignment, they're not in agreement. Your thoughts, your male archetype, and your heart, which is the feminine, right? The love and the compassion is not in agreement. So when you're making a decision on a partner, try and understand, what value will that person add in my life? Am I now going to take the position of being somebody going to fix somebody else and sort them out? Or am I going to be in the position of giving and also receiving in a healthy, balanced way? And it takes practice. That's why we have a lot of relationships. We have a lot of relationships in life, because each relationship is the practice that you need, right? Sometimes we start younger as teenagers. When you're a teenager, you're clueless, right? Of the world as it is. But as you grow older, you start making decisions accordingly. Okay, you make decisions according to what you understand about life. And sometimes even this is like complicated. Sometimes you make decisions on not so healthy belief systems about life, right? So when you're in a situation, this is inner work as well, right? What I'm talking about now for the last few minutes is about inner work. When you're in a relationship and you're finding out that this relationship is toxic, we're always fighting, complaining, this person, we're not gelling. I like being with this person because this person is visibly attractive, right? The aesthetics is wonderful. I like the aesthetics. But when I'm engaging with this person on a day-to-day basis and we're having a relationship, I'm finding that there's gaps in her personality, right? That I never really see when I saw the person. And maybe down the line, it'll take you a while as you engage in different situations come into your relationship. Maybe a death, maybe financial issues and stuff like that. Maybe cheating, maybe, engaging with other people, because some people have jealousy, but it's like very suppressed. And only when you in the relationship, you find that, oh my God, this person has jealousy issues. Okay, that means that there's something wrong with that person's self-concept. They don't trust themselves. They have low self-esteem to the point that they don't feel safe around somebody who is an extrovert, who greets every person, who has a lot of girlfriends, friends, just platonic friends, and don't feel safe because maybe in a past relationship they picked up that issue because they were in a relationship that was toxic and a person cheated on them and they were hurt. And remember, this is the trick about life. Nothing goes away. Every experience is kept in your subconscious mind, in your body, and in your your third brain at the back, right? All your memories of every experience is kept there. So the more emotional it is, the more it's kept there. So when it's kept there, when you experience it again, a relationship, you're now in fear because you're afraid that this person's going to cheat, because you got this concept that this has happened to me in the past. So your subconscious mind is trying to protect you by bringing forth that the experience of what happened in the past to make sure you don't get into the same type of relationship where you're going to be hurt and a person will cheat. So that's why you need to work through your hurts and understand, okay, this thing happened to me this time. I was hurt, this person cheated, right? What am I going to do now, right? This is the past. I understand this is the past. I understand this was just an experience. It doesn't mean that every relationship that I'm going to be in now, person's going to cheat. Take it, understand it, accept it, and then release it. Okay, it happened. There's many different types of men out there. There's many different types of women out there. I'm sure I'll be able to attract the perfect person next time. Perfect for me. Somebody's who's gonna show up and not cheat on me. Let me give the universe, the world, a chance to bring more into me, right? To bring what I need. Let me give God a chance, universe. Let me trust in God. That's more feminine, right? When you are trusting and open, it's more feminine. So as I said, men can also zone into that. If you're a man and you had a relationship that was abusive and a person cheated on you, heal from it and understand that that was a past, it was an experience. What have I learned from that experience? What can I take home from that experience? And if you're gonna say things like, I've asked men and they tell me things like, oh well, I can't trust a woman. Now that's a very general perception. So now you're saying that every single woman is a cheater. That's not the case, right? Because there's different types of people. Not every person is a cheater. You at that time attracted the cheating type of person because of your own inabilities of trust. You have trust issues yourself. That's why you attracted somebody who was cheating, basically. So something has to attract you to that person. And remember, that we are so complicated. We got different energies, right? We have different emotional body, your physical body, your subconscious mind, your conscious mind. You know what I mean? Your soul source, which is sitting there waiting for you to wake up and realize who you are. You understand that you're not a victim of life, but you are a creator of life. You are creator of all living, of things happening in your life, right? You're the one that's bringing things into your life because you are this person with all these experiences and belief systems within you and assumptions about life, and now you're attracting according to your core assumption of life. You keep up with the fear about relationship. Maybe the guy, for example, was in a home where there was divorce and maybe his mom cheated. So now he has this idea that yes, women cheat, that he's in the relationship, but he still subconsciously has a domineering perception that yes, woman cheats, my mom cheats, so it means all women cheats. So that's the thing that's attracting that person with issues of trust herself, because people cheat because they don't feel safe in a relationship with one person. They don't feel safe in that relationship with one person. That's why they cheat. They feel that just in case this relationship doesn't work out, let me just engage to make myself feel safe, and because I'm not feeling safe in this relationship, because again, okay, I'm living out of fear. I'm looking at this man, I'm questioning everything he's doing. Oh, he works overtime, or um he's hardly at home, then he must be cheating. You automatically tell yourself those stories, and you actually begin to believe those stories because you have a feeling of safety in relationships. You've witnessed a lot of divorces. You've witnessed a lot of relationships in your life as a child where it involved infidelity and cheating. So in your mind, you're thinking that, oh my God, I've been in a relationship and I know that relationships don't work, that marriages don't work, that people cheat. That is subconscious, right? That's what you believe in subconsciously, but you want this relationship. But now you're in a relationship and you're feeling unsafe in this relationship, and you see all the red flags, the things that you think are suspicious that your man might be cheating. And you're zoning on all those things, and you forget about all the good things, and you only zone on that one part that he comes late from home. He's always on his cell phone, the type of thing. And he's so bloody good looking. So you think that not good looking men don't all cheat. You think that handsome, good looking men are not decent enough and they're not wanting one, they're not happy in one relationship because you're afraid that these women out there are also bothering him and coming to him and sending him messages and social media trying to, get his attention. You're feeling so unsafe within yourself and because you're also suffering from a low self-esteem besides the relationship experience you've had with divorcing in your childhood, right, in your life, and now you also have low self-esteem issues. So yeah, we have issues now, right? We all coming out different perceptions and our own weaknesses, and we're trying to make this relationship work, but we cannot because at the end of the day, remember, at the end of the day, we are basically just working from our own understanding, right? So relationships are very, very interesting in that way. Good morning, guys. Anybody has any questions before I go on? Because I've been talking up a storm. I spoke about the different archetypes, the male and female archetypes, and balancing the energies. If you have any questions, just let me know, okay? Send me a message and then I can respond. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, eh? I'm all about spirituality, self-development, and basically developing healthy relationships with our partners and with ourselves. Okay, we cannot show up in the world if we are broken people. If we have problems, we need to deal with our problems. So my videos and my content is about that. I also share about eating a healthy lifestyle. I'm not a physical person. If I was, I will show my gymming and stuff like that, right? But I'm somebody with a physical impairment, so I help encourage other people because you are not your body, you are not your experience, you're way above your experience and your body. Okay, you are an alchemist and you can change your life however you want to change it. It's up to you, right? I'm about to end my life now because I was hoping to make it just an hour and I'm just about got like 3 minutes left, guys. I hope this is very helpful, right? I will download the live, right? And I'll make little segments on YouTube. I put the whole video because it's just an hour long, 57 or something minutes long, right? So guys, have a great weekend and I hope that this information on this video, on this live is very effective and and you can relate to it, right? So I'm Sissy, life coach and motivational speaker. I'm also on TikTok and I'm also on YouTube on Instagram as well. And I've got a website, right? So it's manifest underscore with underscore Sission, right? That's my handle for my social media, and my website, coaching website is consultingsission.com. Okay. So have a great week further, right? Because tomorrow is the first day of the next week, right? But have a great weekend, okay? And keep well. Mm. Are you sure you want to? Okay.